My name is Riley. I'm 23 years old. This is my 8th gen Honda Civic SI. I have had the car for just over a month now, actually. Bought it off a used car lot, single owner before me, and yeah, it was a pretty cool deal. Couldn't pass it up. So, are there any modifications to my car? Not really, no. I mean, engine-wise, no, everything's completely factory stock. I think the previous owner did change the emblems to the red H on both the front and the back, and then I think he also took out the amber corners of the front headlights. Other than that, it's completely stock and exactly how I like it right now. My first car was a 1993 Honda Civic Sedan EX. So, power windows, power locks, sunroof. That was the first car that at least I helped pay for. Worked a summer doing door-to-door sales for Comcast, so yes, that was me knocking on your door. And yeah, kind of saved up, and going into my senior year, bought that before, I guess, my senior year of high school. Hello everybody. As you can see, I am in my own 2007 Honda Civic SI Coupe. I want to start this review off by first saying that Washington is the absolute most beautiful place you can live in here in the United States. I don't care what you say, you're never going to convince me otherwise. Now that that's over, I do want to say, bear with me. This is the first car review that I am ever doing, and so I'm a little new to this. Hopefully I can get better as the videos go on. As I said before, I'm in my 2007 Honda Civic SI. And aside from a few aesthetic modifications, some badges and headlights and whatnot, this car is completely bone stock. Yes, bone stock. What you're going to find under the hood of this car is the ever so popular K-Series motor. This, of course, is coming with the K20Z3, which from the factory, as this one is sitting right now, puts out 197 horsepower and 139 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't a whole lot to write home about, but you know what, it does the job around town. For those of you who don't know, now that the Honda S2000 and the NSX are currently out of production, the Civic SI is really the only quote-unquote performance-based car that Honda, I guess, produces right now. This, of course, is not including the Acura division of Honda, which is a little more high-end and does offer a little more performance than what Honda has on their H-badge cars. But let's be real. This is a car that you can get with low mileage, 2011, for maybe 15 grand or even less than that. So this is by no means a expensive high-end car as like you would look at Acura and those divisions like. The question a lot of people have asked though is, what's Honda going to do now that in the recent years both Ford and Mazda have really stepped their game up with the front-wheel drive performance vehicle? Mazda, of course, with the Speed 3, and Ford recently releasing the Focus ST and the Fiesta ST. They're really the two dominant front-wheel drive sport vehicles out there right now. You don't see a lot other than those three different types that aren't rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So a lot of people are wondering what Honda's going to do to counteract what Ford and Mazda have done, and whether the Civic SI can really compete with those brands. Having driven both the Fiesta ST and the new Speed 3s, I would have to say Honda is a little behind on the game right now. This, of course, is the previous generation, but there really hasn't been that much change between this and the 9th gen. Now, about this car, one thing that's really obvious when you first get in the car is that this vehicle is based on an economy car. You will notice that everything on the dash is plastic or kind of this rubbery substance or material that, though it doesn't rattle, which is a good thing, it definitely doesn't feel high quality like a Volkswagen or BMW or Audi you you would experience in their cabins. Another thing you'll notice when you get in is that there's not a lot of tech features, I guess you would call them, in this car. I mean, there's no Bluetooth, there's no USB enabled, at least in the stock version, if you don't get the navigation. Yeah, all you really get is volume controls on the steering wheel, and that's about it, and an auxiliary port. But yes, this is a car from 2007, so it's not exactly expected to be completely up to date, but it is something that's lacking compared to the Fiesta ST and cars of that like. One thing I will say that I enjoy about this car is that it is very comfortable. Obviously, the spring rates and ride height have been adjusted from the base model Honda Civic, but it's still got comfort and drivability, I guess you would say, that go along with it. It's something that you can that I do daily, and I have no issues with it whatsoever. One thing I really enjoy about driving this car is that there's a lot of sound deadening, even on an 8-year-old car now. It's really quiet in the cabin here. You don't hear a lot of road noise. There's not a lot of engine noise for you to hear in the first place, but it's a nice, comfortable ride that you could take 4, 5, 6 hours and I think really enjoy yourself. One of my favorite parts about driving this car is the seats that come in it. They're very, very snug compared to my previous WRX seats and other seats like the 2010 WRX seats that I've sat in before. They're nearly comparable to the Fiesta STs, the 2015s with the Recaros. They're not quite as snug as those, but these definitely give good side support. Not so much of a thigh support though. That's something that could be improved on. But for the most part, for an 8-year-old car that came from the factory like this, I'm really impressed at how performance-oriented these seats, I guess, came. Now let's talk about the actual performance driving of this car. First off, it is front-wheel drive, which for some people is a deal breaker. Usually that is the last of the 3 that one would like to pick to drive. It only comes in a 6-speed manual, and I will tell you right now, it is the easiest manual transmission that I've ever driven in my life. I would probably actually say second easiest. The base model Mazda 3s were pretty easy. The Speed 3 is also pretty easy, but nothing like this transmission that is just butter shipping through the gears. Different driving a front-wheel drive car compared to, say, a all-wheel drive car like my previous WRX is that there's definitely a little more drama when you really get on it. You never know if the tires are gonna break or if it's gonna just pull away and hit that VTEC, yo. Yes, this is a 2-liter dual overhead cam motor, K-series, bro, with VTEC kicking in. VTEC does kick in around, I want to say it's 6,000 RPM and kind of winds out all the way to 8,000. One comparable experience with VTEC, if you've never driven Honda with it, is kind of like, it's kind of like a turbocharged car with the drama of turbo lag, and then you hit 35, 4 grand, and it just pulls away. Of course, this is much higher in the RPM range, so it takes a little longer to hit it, but once VTEC does kick in, it's fun, I won't lie. It's not quite the experience of a turbo, but it's very comparable to, you know it's coming, and then boom, you hit it and you're gone. This car does rev out all the way to 8,000 RPM, which is kind of nice. One complaint you'll hear a lot about these cars is that there's just not a lot of low-end torque, which is true. Which is partly what people suspect why they went with the K24 motors in the new 9th gens rather than sticking with the K20s. But also, people think it was just a money issue for them, trying to save a bit. One thing I think Honda did a really good job was with the seating position of this car. I'm a smaller dude, so I like to sit up higher in it. But if you are the type that likes to sit low and feel like you're inside the center of the car, definitely gives you the ability to do that. Pedal spacing is a little frustrating on this car. Obviously, it's based off of the base Honda Civic, and so it's a little tough trying to heel toe. I'm of course no pro at heel toeing, but it's pretty obvious you got to lift your foot a lot. The brake and the throttle aren't exactly even, so it kind of gets in the way when you're trying to move over and hit the brake. And this is one of my favorite turns right here. And brake in. And accelerate out. VTEC out. One thing interesting about the gearing of this car is that since it revs out all the way to 8,000 RPM, it feels like the gearing is really long. Like you're in first gear forever, hit 8,000 RPM, then you're in second gear forever, hit 8,000, and then you're in third gear. But when you look at the speed that you're at and the gear that you're in, you could be in fifth gear. Like, look at this. I'll be in fifth gear right now, can still accelerate, and I'm going 33 miles per hour, which is a little weird, especially coming from a Subaru. If you tried being in fifth gear going 30, you're just going to give it gas and bog down and go absolutely nowhere. So it's a different experience, something I actually enjoy, but not what I'm used to. One thing I like that Honda did with this car was give you the ability to turn vehicle stability assist off with the single push of a button down here. It kind of, with vehicle stability on, it really limits what you're able to do when putting your foot down. As soon as you feel the tires start to spin, you can tell that it's kind of adjusting and throttling back what you're putting in to, you know, make sure you can catch grip. With vehicle stability off though, shoot, you'll chirp your tires going from first to second, second to third. I haven't chirped them going from third to fourth, but I would not be surprised if you're able to do that. One thing that I think Honda's really been underrated for is the handling of this car. Because it is front wheel drive, a lot of people just write it off like they always seem to do. There is of course a lot of understeer in it, but they've done a really good job of giving you, the driver, the control of, you know, having the ability to kind of kick the back end around by just going in hard and then braking late, kind of adjusting all the weight transfer forward while you drive. All in all, I think Honda did a really good job with what this car is. It's a sporty, I guess you would say, little coupe that is based on an economy car. It gets, you know, my MPG wise, I'm averaging about 27 miles per gallon right now. You can get around 23, 24 in the city and 31 and 32 highway. So of course I'm right in the middle there. And it's a comfortable ride. It's something that you can, like I said earlier, drive for hours and not get too tired. It comes with all the basic needs that you would want out of a car. It's got a CD changer. It has the ability to plug in an auxiliary cord, climate control, air conditioning, heating. It's really all you could ask for out of a car that, you know, this costs less than $15,000. So yeah, there's other things out there that around the same price have a little more oomph to them. You can get a decent WRX for around that price, but you're not going to get it at the mileage that this has. You know, with less than 75,000 miles, this car's gonna last forever. That's one thing you get is a Honda reliability. You know, you don't have to worry about things breaking down and not having a car for a week or so. Weighing less than 3,000 pounds. If you ever want to go forced induction, supercharged, turbocharged, people put down some good numbers in this thing. Yes, it's front wheel drive, so you don't get the all-wheel drive launch that you would get out of an Evo or something like that. But when you're pushing between 300 and 600 horsepower, depending on how much you want to boost it, you can run in the 11, 12 second quarters. And that's nice because even at those levels of boost, you're not pushing your car past what it can handle. You know, it's still at a level that you're not going to kill the reliability of the motor. And another thing about Honda is that there is a huge aftermarket for it. Always, always, always. There's a reason why so many people swap these motors into their older EGs and EJs and EKs, because you can just do so much to them and get so much out of it with also doing so little to them. You know, it's a motor that you can really just make your own, along with the entire car itself. Whatever you want to do with this car, you can make it look good. You can go with the stance version. You can keep it stock. You can boost it. You can do whatever you want with this car, and unlike a lot of other cars, it's not gonna die on you. I guess the last question that I should answer for you guys is, would I recommend this car to anybody? And the answer is pretty simple. It's yes. Whether you're a 16-year-old whose parents are willing to drop 10 to 12 grand on a car for you, or someone that's in the college or post-college era that, you know what, you want a car that's reliable but gives you a little ability to be adventurous. Or if you're a tuner or enthusiast that just wants a car that you can romp on, this car will do it all for you. I just think this car is something that's reliable, transformable, and just comfortable. It's a perfect daily driver. I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, I'm going to recommend it if I actually bought it. So, but just looking at all the different types of people out there, there's so many different things you can do with it. So, hey, my answer is yes. Go ahead and get it. Alright, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Once again, this is my first one, so let me know what you guys think. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment below if you have anything to say. And hey, you guys are awesome. Have an awesome day. Thanks.